gave you fair warning, beware, beware.
Smack him in the mouth.
I gave you fair warning, beware, beware.
Smack him in the mouth.
I gave you fair warning, beware, beware.
Smack him in the mouth.
I gave you fair warning, beware, beware.
Smack him in the mouth.
What is up, Warzone Sports Army? Welcome into the newest episode of Mike's Film Room. Week 3 in the NFL is in the books. And the good performance that we're going to take a look at today is the Cleveland Browns defense and how they completely shut down an NFL offense this last weekend. Now, the bad that we're going to look at today is Justin Fields and this Bears offense who went against Cleveland Browns this weekend, as you guys already know. Now we want to take a deep dive and see where we can kind of place some blame or place some reasoning behind such a terrible performance offensively. We're going to look at the play calling, we're going to look at the offensive line play, and we're going to look at Justin Fields' play himself. It wasn't so great. This is our first time experimenting with this whole green screen thing we got going on here, so the game's going to be directly behind me. I'm not going to be going up into my corner. Just trying out new things, trying to improve all the time here at the Warzone Sports Network. Which is all the reason to hit the subscribe button, turn on notification bells, smash the like button. It helps out a ton in this battle against the algorithm that you know that we're in every single week, every single day at this point. If you're new to the Warzone Sports Network, this is your first exposure to the network, I promise you will not regret checking out the channel. We post 10 to 15 videos every single week, and we're live for every NFL primetime game. Every single one. Anyways, I'll give you some more cheap plugs at the end of the episode. With all those things said, without further ado, let's get into the film study of the Browns defense dominating the Bears offense. So here we go. First, we're going to start off talking about this Bears offensive line versus the Browns defensive line. How the Bears offensive line got absolutely manhandled. They were not helping out their young quarterback at all in this game. And you saw it throughout the game. And I would highlight individual plays, but all of them look similar. Bears offensive linemen getting dominated by Browns defensive linemen. And the Browns sent some unique blitzes at Justin Fields. I mean, check out this play right here. I believe it's actually Jason Peters at the top of the screen here going up against Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett's going to be rushing off of the edge on the left side of the formation for the offense, right side for the defense. There's nothing the running back, the receivers, the coach, the quarterback can do. You're going to take a sack on this play if you get beat this bad. Watch Myles Garrett come off the line and basically just come in untouched. And this is Justin Fields' blind side. This is Justin Fields' blind side. Of course, Myles Garrett is no ordinary human, so let's look at his get off here for a second. He can speed rush just as much as he can power rush with the best of them in the league. Just goes right by him. Stood no chance. Right here. This is a quarterback's worst nightmare picture. Actually, it gets a little bit worse if Fields was still standing in the pocket, because then you're getting absolutely destroyed. But Myles Garrett is in pursuit of Fields almost this instant. He would have stood no chance at evading any of these pass rush sacks. There was some more that were near misses that I saw on tape. But the offensive line does not deserve all the blame for the Browns shutting down this Bears offense. There was much more to it, and Justin Fields himself did not play that well. There were a ton of moments in this game where Justin Fields, to me, looked nervous. He looked scared. I know he's a rookie quarterback, but his composure was completely off. He didn't seem poised on moments where he did have a clean pocket to stand in. He almost seemed panicky. And it led to this very bad day for the offensive line turn into a terrible day for this entire offense. Like, for example, on this play right here. Darnell Mooney lined up in the slot. I'm going to circle him. He's going to get a nice release here, get inside of the defensive back covering him, and actually break up field and be open for Justin Fields to throw it to him. Fields is looking right at him, so I'm not sure why Fields didn't let it go, but Fields is going to take a sack on this play. And for some reason, he didn't fire this in there to Darnell Mooney. Right here. This is wide open in the NFL. Justin Fields doesn't have the cleanest of pockets. He does have some pressure, but you've got to uncork this ball to Darnell Mooney once you get into the end of your drop step. He was locked in on him the whole time. I don't know what he's looking at. Even a little bit of a high pass here, or a loopy pass here to try and get it over all these defensive linemen and offensive linemen, probably causing traffic here in his throwing lane. Even a little bit of loopy pass. He's wide open. The linebacker's back is turned to the quarterback. He doesn't even know when the ball is going to come. This is an easy completion in the NFL. But Fields panics, doesn't throw the ball, and kind of just takes a sack here instead. On this one, and this is the kind of plays where I really wish I had the other angles. The NFL.com and Game Pass have not given out the All-22 film as promised still to this day. So it's kind of getting really frustrating with them because we're 4 weeks into the season. They said they'd have it by week 1. I've sent emails out and actually not even gotten a response from the customer service help or whatever it was that the email is on the website. So that kind of sucks because you can't really see downfield if there were people open or not or what Fields is looking at. But he's got to have a better clock, a better internal clock, and know that the pressure is going to come, especially when you've been getting beat up all day already. I mean, we're in the second quarter. We've gone through a whole first quarter of pressure, a whole first quarter of sacks, and a whole first quarter of problems. And you're going to see Justin Fields have plenty of time here and a clean pocket, and he could have checked this ball down if no one was open downfield, but instead takes the sack. I mean, right here, you know the pressure's coming. Get this out to your running back who's open here in the flats. Yes, he has a man over there. I trust my running backs to make defensive backs miss in most situations, and even if he doesn't, it's better to get it out there and gain 4 or 5 yards versus get sacked here, and that's exactly what happens. Myles Garrett gets himself another one. This is what I'm talking about. The poise and the experience and the play of an NFL quarterback. Most of these guys would get that out there to the running back, to the check down, if nothing was open downfield. If you have that much time to actually go through all of your reads, no one's open, let's get it to the check down. And that comes down to poise. Of course, he's going to get better with that with reps. But let's not sit here and act like the offensive line was the only reason that Fields didn't do well on Sunday. And when I said he looked panicky earlier, this is kind of an example I'm talking about. Right here, Fields knows that he's got coverage out here with Denzel Ward over Allen Robinson. He knows Denzel Ward is playing off coverage. Allen Robinson has a hitch drawn up, and you're on that side of the field. Like the ball spotted on that hash closest to Allen Robinson. So yes, this is completely the right read. The hitch is drawn up. It's going to be open. But Fields kind of panics, puts too much into the throw, and just sails it way over Robinson's head. Way over Darnell Mooney's head. Anyways, look how much higher this ball is. This completely sails on him. He stands no chance at getting this. And I made the mistake on which receiver that was, but it doesn't matter which receiver it was. It was the right read. You've got to make this throw. It's the NFL. You can't make throws look this bad, even as a rookie quarterback. So, again, the offensive line, not the only reason that the Bears' offense was so bad this weekend. Justin Fields has a lot of improving to do as well. He's also locking in on receivers, I noticed, and not really going through progressions too well. Even the throw's timing, he threw this right when he broke. Like, everything was perfect. He just kind of didn't complete the pass, didn't complete the throwing motion, just threw it right over his head. Here's another head-scratching throw, and this is not open. He's double covered right here. There's just no window to get this ball in. And you tell me the offensive line is the reason that this offense struggled so much on Sunday. I mean, let's look at the pocket. I mean, what more do you want the offensive line to do? He's got a very clean pocket. You probably want to get this ball out to the running back instead because he's wide open and has a ton of space up the sideline. But Fields is locking in on his receivers. He's going to him no matter what. In this situation, it was a tight end in Cole Kmet and just forces it in there, and that's unexcusable. I mean, this should be intercepted, honestly. That's damn near triple coverage, but definitely double coverage with another guy blanketing over the top. You can't do that in football. You can't do that in the NFL, not at this level. That's something maybe you can get away with in college and sling that thing in there and fit it in there, but not when every single player on the field is a star player on a college team. Here's another one where he really looked like a rookie, right? And I just don't know what he's doing here. And I want to just bring this on here just to show like the panic level that was in Justin Fields' soul, especially at this point in the game. He'd been sacked probably 7 times at this point late in the third quarter. But you're getting pressure from Myles Garrett. I'll tell you what you shouldn't do. You should not jump up in the air and throw a wild pass. That is almost a backward pass and would have been a fumble. You should probably just take the sack here or just try and throw this away. But this is just panicking. It's panicking. You can't panic on the NFL level. Like I said, we'll cut him some slack because he's a rookie. But I just want to show that Justin Fields was not good by any means this last weekend. And it is not all Matt Nagy and the offensive line. But speaking of Matt Nagy and speaking of the Bears offensive coordinator and speaking of play calling and bad coaching, Justin Fields, in this entire game, I counted. I watched the entire game, watched every single one of Justin Fields' snaps. There were design QB run/rollouts 4 times in an entire football game. And when he got out on the run, when he got into these bootlegs, he found a little bit more success. He looked so much more comfortable, less panicky. He looked like he belonged there, and you see here with the read option. So the Bears really, if they're going to go with Fields the rest of the year, they have to get him on the move. They have to get him on the bootleg. They have to do a better job at helping their rookie quarterback be as comfortable as he possibly can. But honestly, seeing this performance from Fields on Sunday, I would go back to Andy Dalton. I'm not going to throw Fields out there behind this offensive line and risk injury. I'm not going to throw Fields out there and risk the future of the franchise because he is what they look at as their franchise quarterback going forward after this season. I wouldn't do it. I'd put Andy Dalton back out there. Andy Dalton already won a game with the Bears this season. Andy Dalton's not going to panic. He's not going to overreact. He's going to be able to handle the pressure that he's going to be under behind this Bears offensive line. And if the Bears can get successful at running the ball and playing defense again, they actually can win some games with Andy Dalton. I don't think they can go to the playoffs. I don't think that they can beat good teams in the NFL. But when it comes to the bad teams in the NFL, I'd say that they're in the upper echelon of the absolutely bad teams in football right now. But like I said, I would have Andy Dalton out there. Everyone wants to see the kid play. Everyone wants to see Justin Fields play. The only argument that I would say for Justin Fields to continue to play in the Bears offense in the state that's in right now is if you value these reps that he's getting and these bad games as learning lessons, and you value those learning lessons more than you value Andy Dalton taking the blows and taking the hits that Fields would have taken in there instead. Which if Matt Nagy came out and said those exact words, I would kind of be in on Fields playing still. But who is most responsible for the Bears' offensive struggles this last weekend? The Browns' defense. Look, they struggled in the first 2 weeks of the season, but responding by coming in here and shutting down a rookie-led team like they should with all the talent they have on this defense was very impressive to me, especially Myles Garrett. Robinson isn't getting the ball. Allen Robinson isn't getting the love that he should be getting. That's because DBs are all over him. And he's also not getting called. His number's not getting called in the route tree either. He's not running all the routes that we know Allen Robinson can run. But in this game specifically, Denzel Ward was all over that man. There was no fitting it into Allen Robinson, and Allen Robinson wasn't able to really get much going, especially when they started to try and target Allen Robinson at will a little bit. Denzel Ward, you were seeing getting pass breakups on consecutive plays late in the game. And again, the linebackers and the pass rush was amazing in this game. They absolutely manhandled the Bears' offensive line, as good or bad that you think they are. What a beast. Quick episode this week, guys. We just wanted to get through it, make sure we get a look at what went wrong for the Bears, what went wrong for Justin Fields. I'm dealing with this green screen issue also, which led to me get a little bit frustrated before recording this video. Hopefully it didn't come out in my tone of voice. I'm also going to try and clean up this green screen thing and figure out how exactly the best setup is going to be for me. Even if I have to kind of move locations in the room, I'll figure it out. But I appreciate you guys tuning into this week's episode of Mikes Filmroom. Please smash the like button. Please hit subscribe. Turn those notification bells on. Let me know in the comment section below if you think Justin Fields is going to recover from this really tough game that they played this last weekend. Let me know in the comments who should start at quarterback as well between Andy Dalton and Justin Fields. And Matt Nagy he even threw out Nick Foles' name, but we'll ignore that he even said that. If Nick Foles is out there, just fire that guy. Just fire him immediately, please. If you would like to get in on some Warzone Sports Network merch, head to www.warzonesportsnetwork.com. The merch is all up there. Also, there's bonus content, bonus blogs, and everything Warzone Sports Network on the website, so go check out the website. If you like doing prop bets and prop picking, head to prizepicks.com. They're partnering with us right now. They've given us a promo code WARZONE when depositing your initial deposit, and they're going to double you up to $100. So if you put in $100, they're going to give you another $100. You have $200 to play with if you use code WARZONE when making your initial deposit. We're going to have shows all week like we do every single week, so stay tuned for all that, live for all the primetime games like I said at the beginning of the show. Thanks for tuning in. The Bears are absolutely doomed. The Browns defense is trending up. I'm Mike, and I'm just a former decent high school football player turned fan on the mic, and this is me saying until next time.
I gave you fair warning, beware.
Smack him in the mouth.
I gave you fair warning, beware.
Smack him in the mouth.
I gave you fair warning, beware.
Smack him in the mouth.
I gave you fair warning, beware.